Hi, it's me, Angelusic, and today I'm bringing you guys an OC redesign video. In my last video, I did a flip through of my old art, and in that video, I looked over a lot of old OC designs that I made back in 2024, and looking at those designs really got me thinking. I really wanted to redesign them, and I said that a lot in my video. So this video is basically a fulfillment of basically what I said in my last video about wanting to make new designs of my OCs. So yeah, I picked out 4 OCs from that video, and I'm gonna be redesigning them today in this video. So yeah. Also, before we get started, I am trying out this cute little layout that I have for this video. Let me know if it's too overstimulating at all, or too overwhelming, or if there's too much visual input. I did have that in mind while I was making this layout, just because I did want the attention to be focused on the speed paint, obviously. So I'm hoping I didn't go too out of my way to make everything look too over the top. I also will be posting separate speed paint videos on my channel as well, without any commentary or without any layouts. If those are more of your preference, it'll just be my speed paint plus some music, and that's it. And yeah, those are my little side notes before we get started. So Exhibit A, this was actually, in my flip through video, I said this was the main OC that I wanted to redesign, and I specifically said it's because I wanted to keep her hair curly. That was the only thing I wanted to change, was the hair, because I said in my last video that I was upset at myself for giving her a straight bob and a beanie instead of keeping her curly hair. So yeah, I'm making this redesign of her to basically fulfill my wish of giving her curly hair. So as I was brainstorming for what I wanted this OC to look like and what I wanted her name to be, and basically everything about her character, I did basically come up with something a little more simple. I didn't want anything too over the top, but I also wanted something very elegant. I ended up going with a long, sparkly, glittery dress, and as you can see, I am adding in rough shading at the moment. It does look a little wonky right now, but you know, if you know one thing about the art process, it always looks pretty wonky at first, but you know, luckily the rendering process exists, and it's a lifesaver. This is also one of my favorite techniques to use is the grayscale method. I did mention that before in my last video. I love the grayscale method so much. I feel like it's made art so much easier for me, and I love using it, and it makes coloring so much more satisfying as well. Because I never thought that you could color after you've shaded. That never was a thought in my mind before. But once I discovered it, it was amazing. It was so amazing. On this specific art piece, I was playing around with blending modes a little more, and I'm honestly so glad I did that, because I did find a way to make the colors seem more saturated than they usually do. I think the blending modes that I used a color layer, and then I used an overlay layer. And then sometimes I went over that with a linear burn layer. Those are the 3 main layer blending modes that I use. And I was super happy with that. So yeah, linear burn, overlay, and color. And then I played around with the opacity of each of those layers and the ordering basically to my liking. And yeah, and I also took advantage of using color jitter. I edited a couple of my brushes, specifically my coloring brushes, and added a little bit of color jitter, which I think was a really good way to give the piece more visual intrigue, I guess. Instead of having everything just be one solid color, it was like a bunch of shifting hues, which is it's barely noticeable, but I feel like it makes such a big difference. I feel like watching me render the hair, it's like watching my dreams come true. I feel happy that I have fulfilled the old wish of wanting this character to have curly hair, finally. So congrats to me for that. Right now you see me going back in and fixing up the hues and the values of the piece, which is a very, very important step. I did find out most of these tips of like the grayscale method and color layers and color jitter from Xiaohongshu, the really, really popular app for artists, along with like everything else. It taught me a lot. Looking at the art on Xiaohongshu, I feel like I learned so much, and it gave me a lot of inspiration for my own art. And now I am drawing Diantha's face. For each of these redesigns, I wanted to draw a full body drawing, and I wanted to draw a portrait as well. So I could have just done the full body, but I wanted a close-up of their face as well, because I love drawing faces. So yeah, in this portrait, she's just holding a flower. I don't know, she seems like she likes flowers. Or maybe I just like flowers. I have a lot of flower symbolism in a lot of my art. But yeah, I gave her the name Diantha. If I'm remembering correctly, Diantha translates to heavenly flower, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, everybody meet Diantha. This is Diantha, my beautiful OC, who has existed since 2024, which would make her 2 years old now. Yeah. As for her lore, I don't really have any. I don't know. I was thinking of like lore ideas while I was drawing her, and I genuinely cannot come up with anything. So if you guys have any lore ideas, feel free to share them in the comments. I'd love to hear. And here is the before and after of Diantha's former design and her newest redesign. I'm honestly really happy with how this turned out. I love the little pop. I love the pops of color. I love how vibrant everything is. And I will say I am really, really happy, and I'm really proud of myself that I actually decided to redesign this character instead of just forgetting about her like I have with so many other of my OCs. But yeah, here's Diantha. I'm super happy with her. I'm just happy. I'm happy to see her. I love looking at her. Mwah. And next, moving on to the next redesign, is going to be these pair of eyes that I drew for New Year's of 2025. So this design did start off as a simple pair of eyes, because before I drew full faces and full portraits, I did used to draw just facial features. So now that I actually do draw faces and I draw portraits now, I want to try my luck and see how well I can do in turning this pair of eyes into a character design. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So starting off, I do really like this pose. This pose I chose. This kind of pose does live rent-free in my mind. I love it a lot, and I've always wanted to try and draw a character in this pose, and I'm happy I finally have the opportunity to do so, so that's great. Her design as a whole is inspired by the leafy sea dragon. Very loosely inspired. I really just wanted some kind of inspiration to get me started on drawing her, because if I just went into her design without any kind of inspiration at all, it would have just looked a mess. It would have just been all over the place. So yeah, she is an aquatic creature, a fish of sorts. Yeah, that's the inspiration I went with her. She doesn't look exactly like a leafy sea dragon, obviously. It like I said, it's more loose inspiration. And I did give her a mesh top, which was kind of a pain to draw because I've never drawn that before. I have no idea how I feel about it, but there it is. The rest of the outfit, I do like the color distribution. I like the colors I picked out for the rest of her outfit. I think in the future, I will try out different outfit iterations for a lot of my characters, just because now that I have gotten better at drawing portraits and drawing bodies, I do want to practice actual character and outfit design. So yeah, adding that to my bucket list. And I do love her hair in this this design specifically, because I wanted something that was reminiscent of the ocean and the water, and I thought wavy blue hair was the perfect way to do that, and I feel like I love it so much. And rendering it was also very satisfying. I hope it's satisfying in the speed paint. And yeah, so right now I'm rendering her clothes. She has like sort of a pencil skirt layered under a pleated skirt, which I thought was really cute, and I added a couple of vines to the top of her skirt where the band is, just because I thought it'd be a little reminiscent of seaweed, I guess. And yeah, I added some markings on her face that kind of look like the waves, to give the feeling of water. And I also think the hands on this piece are probably some of the best hands I've ever drawn, like ever. Like, if you saw in my previous piece, I did draw a hand for Diantha, but it didn't really look that good. So you can look at it, just don't look too hard, please. But I think I did pretty well on the hand in this drawing of Fina. That's her name. Her name is Fina. I don't know why I named her Fina. I thought it was fitting. Not fitting, I just thought it sounded nice, because it sounds kind of like fin, like a fish fin, but it also kind of sounds like seraphim. a little bit, like an angel. And it also kind of sounds like Fina, as in phenomenal, which is super cool. So yeah, it's a pretty name. I love it, and I love Fina. She's gorgeous. I love the pose that I chose for this. I also chose like underhead lighting for this piece, which is my first time doing anything like that. There's a lot of firsts for this project. My first time trying out different techniques, my first time trying out different lighting. So I did use a pretty good amount of references for the lighting on this piece, and overall I think it turned out really well. I'm really happy with it. I think it makes her eyes pop a lot more with the lighting that I chose, so super happy with that. Right now I am going in and I'm adding seaweed to her outfit, which was very tedious, adding all of that, but it was worth it because I think it does kind of make her look more aquatic and more like a leafy sea dragon. Like, obviously she's leafy sea dragon, right? So I have to give her leaves. That just makes sense, right? So yeah, I did keep a separate version of this painting of her without the leaves as well, just so I could have both versions. So yeah, now I am rendering her face, and again, I feel like for some reason when I'm drawing faces in portraits, it takes me like twice as long. I don't know if that's because the face is bigger, but yeah, it did take me like a couple hours to draw this face. I do feel like I am slowly getting better at drawing faster. I still am not the fastest artist ever, but I think I'm speeding up a little bit. I just think it's because I'm doing it more, and I feel like once you do something more times, you get faster at it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I am a big fan of this face shot. I feel like it's very similar to her original design that I made of her back in 2025. It's basically the same angle, and I wanted to have her winking in this one as well because I did give her leaves as eyelashes, which I thought that was pretty cute, and I thought having her winking would be a good way to show off her eyelashes. So yeah, right now in the speed paint, it does look pretty pale, but again, I will go in and I'll fix up the colors and all that. It's very satisfying to watch, very, very satisfying. But right now I'm adding in the leaves again, and then here we go with the colors. Amazing, I love it. And yeah, this is Fina. This is the rest of her design. I am really happy with it. I think this is by far one of the most fun designs I've ever made. She's really pretty. I love the purple skin. I love the blue hair. I feel like all the colors on this one are really, really nice. I think I did a good job on that. And again, like I said before, I love the hair. And I love how it actually looks like water, like she's in the ocean. Or like her hair, it's like so long, it's like a nice backdrop, and it makes her look like she's in the water. I love that so much. I'm very happy with this design. I'm very happy with Fina. She's gorgeous. And yeah, now we can move on to design number 3. So for redesign number 3 is going to be my OC. This was actually my first adopt that I ever made. Her name is Haslaria, and basically I didn't have any lore for her, but the whole premise for her character was that she was just really sleepy all the time. So I did kind of want to branch off of that same concept, but I wanted to get rid of like the sleepiness. I still wanted her to be pretty listless, if that makes sense, but I don't want her in pajamas anymore, basically. Also, before we start, I will give a quick little trigger warning for trypophobia. I guess is what I could call it, or body horror. In this character's design, they are covered in pearls. Parts of their face is covered in pearls, and parts of their arms and body is covered in pearls, and it is made to be sort of like body horror. So I will give timestamps for if you want to skip over those parts. But yeah, her lore and her backstory and stuff is still developing, but at the moment I think she is sort of a commentary on, I guess, feeling like you've lost all of your passion for whatever it is that you're trying to do in life, and sort of finding a way to live with yourself after that's happened, I guess. So yeah, I see Haslaria as somebody who maybe was very, very passionate at some point, and maybe was working towards her passion at some point, whether it be like something academic, like wanting to get a degree, or wanting to make friends or something like that. And then, you know, those things end up not really working out. And then you know, what do you do after that? So maybe she just feels like, you know, what's the point of life now that everything that I've wanted to do has failed? And I think that is something that a lot of people can relate to, and something that a lot of people are afraid of, including myself. You know, I feel like everybody wants things that they want to do in life, or they have things that they want to do in life. And I feel like it is a very valid fear of like asking yourself if this is going to work out or not. And that is something that I do struggle with myself as well. So I think this OC Hasleria does sort of hit close to home for me. And yeah, so again, there's no backstory for her at the moment. Still workshopping some things and all that. But overall, I do like the concept for her character. Visually, the concept that I had for her was rotten fruit that was also bejeweled and covered in pearls. Just because I feel like losing your passion in life could sort of be compared to a fruit rotting, or like a loss of nutrients or something like that. And then I think taking that, like a piece of organic matter that has gone bad or is no longer good for you, and deciding to keep it and, you know, covering it in jewels, specifically pearls in this case, it sort of feels like, you know, even though this thing has gone bad, it's still worth something, you know? It doesn't have to be tossed into the trash. We can still keep this. We can still salvage this. Like, life is still worth living, even when your passions maybe have died or something. Or you can find another way to realize your passion, even if it's done the way that you wanted it to be. That's part of the premise that I had for this character. So there's a lot of fruit in her design, and her if you look at her shirt, I did want to keep her outfit similar to her original in some ways. So there's still the white and the green in her shirt as well, and then I added some orange and some yellow for just as a complementary color. And then obviously I added a neutral color in her dress, which was brown. And I also do like how the skirt does kind of look like mold a little bit, or specifically the lace, the white ruffles does kind of, it was meant to signify mold in a way, if that makes sense. And then I am drawing pearls, because yeah, I wanted to have pearls in this design as well. I did have a pattern of like apples on her shirt, which I thought was really cute. I did take a lot of inspiration from like the Mori K aesthetic while I was drawing her as well. And now I'm drawing her face. The face was actually really fun to draw. I've never drawn this pose before, and I think it was really nice. And I think it does kind of, you know, give the feeling of like listlessness or something like that. And I also, this was also one of my first time drawing a character that had locks as well. Most of the time, I do have a lot of black characters, but I mainly give them afros for the most part. And this is actually, Hasleria is my first character that has locks. So yeah, there's that. And I decided to give her hooded eyes as well, just because I feel like I need more variation in my faces. Like, I draw a lot of portraits, but for the most part, there's not a whole lot of variation in facial features, I feel like. So I gave Hasleria hooded eyes because of that, and I feel like she looks really nice, and I'm super happy. I love her eyebrows as well. The reason I chose that specific eyebrow shape was because it kind of reminded me of like an apple stem, like the stem of an apple. It kind of looks like that, but I have no idea. But overall, I really like this design. I really like Hasleria. I like what she represents for me. I think it does hit really close to home for me, and hopefully, you know, for a lot of people as well. And here is Hasleria's final redesign. I really love it. I love the colors. I love how vibrant everything is. I've never used this kind of color palette before, so I'm happy I was able to branch out and try something new. And I'm also glad that I was able to try something new with her whole concept for her character beyond the design itself. I think that's really nice. So yeah, let me know what you think of this design, and we'll move on to the next and last design for this video. And last redesign for this video is going to be of my OC that I made again back in 2024. This was exactly a year ago at this point. This was in June, or 2 years ago. This was exactly 2 years ago in June 2024. But yeah, let's get started with this redesign. This redesign, he also has some lore as well, so I'll get into explaining that as I redesign him. So this OC's name, his name is Sino. That's the name I gave him, and it's supposed to be short for Cenotaph. Cenotaph is basically a monument that is meant to commemorate and remember dead soldiers who have died in war. And I think that perfectly describes Sino and what his character is meant to represent as well. Again, his character and his lore and all of that isn't as developed as I want it to be. But again, the main concept is that he is a ghost, basically, who carries around the dog tags of dead soldiers. And he collects them. He goes around to battlefields where dead soldiers have died, and he collects their dog tags. And he's basically meant to be a walking memorial of sorts. And yeah, I also feel like he also was a soldier when he was alive, and maybe that's part of the reason why he feels so inclined to carry around the dog tags of other dead soldiers as well. So because of that, I did want to give him more military-esque clothing in his design as well. In his original design, I did sort of give him an outfit that was more reminiscent of Dark Souls and Elden Ring and things like that. But here I wanted him to be more, I guess, modern, if that makes sense. So yeah, I gave him cargo pants, and I gave him a corset, a leather corset, I guess you could call it. And I still wanted to keep his cape. I really like his cape, just because I didn't want to have a similar silhouette to his previous design, just because I love how ghostly it looked. And I also gave him basically giant wicks as well. In his original design, he did have wicks, but they were a lot smaller, so I decided to make them a lot bigger in this design. So yeah, I'm still not 100% sure where to go with his whole concept as a character. I think I would want to expand more on what kind of guy he was like when he was alive, or like maybe how he died and all of that, and like all the events that took place. And overall, I do really want his character to be a concept on, like, I guess how exploitative the military can be, and the army and war in general, I think is the kind of direction I want to go with this character. So yeah, I am planning on, taking some time in the future to sort of flesh that out along with all my other characters, because pretty much none of them have, two of them, Diantha and Fina, they don't have any lore at all. And then Haslyria and Sino, they have very vague lore, so I do want to flesh out their lore a lot more in the future. And yeah, now I'm rendering his hair. I did find a really good technique for rendering hair. I feel like in the past I would have spent hours and hours rendering every single wick and piece of afro, but looking at art on Xiaohong Shu, specifically speed paints and tutorials, taught me that, like, texture brushes can go a long way. They really can. And it's good to make use of those, and it's good to take advantage of texture brushes. And I have been doing that, especially with the hair on a lot of my black characters, and with my characters with, like, tighter curls specifically. So yeah, that is something that I will definitely utilize a lot in the future. I try my best to utilize it with Sino's design. I'm still getting the hang of it. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. And I feel like I'm also, throughout this project, getting better at drawing hands. If you look at Diantha's hands, she was the first design that I drew for this project, and I think her hands were pretty wonky. But I think now at this point, while I'm drawing Sino, his hands look pretty good. I mean, his hand on the right, he's missing a couple fingers, but honestly that's fine, because he's meant to be holding a gun anyways, so I think it's fine. I think that's okay. I feel like one thing that I would do for this design is I actually want to add names on the dog tags. I think that would have been a really nice detail. And I think maybe I will whenever I go into fleshing out his lore a lot more, because specifically like his lore of when he was alive, because I think obviously he would have some friends or some squad mates or something like that, and I think maybe I could put their names on each dog tags for like close-ups and stuff. I think that would have been pretty cool. So yeah, if I ever want to draw him in the future, I think that would be a great point of interest or a great way to start. Like, what was he doing? Did he have any friends in the military when he was alive? You know, were they good friends? What was his personality? Stuff like that. I think there's a lot of potential for him as a character. And thinking about it now, I am a little excited to flesh him out in the future. And now I'm drawing his face. His face shot. I love his pose as well. I feel like way back in like 2024, I would mainly just focus on drawing the face without like thinking about gestures as much. So I think that's something that I have improved on lately in my composition, I feel like. So yeah, proud of myself for that. I'm going in, I'm drawing the scar. I will say his scar, it's supposed to be reminiscent of an adinkra symbol. I'll post a picture of it. I forgot the name. I'll put it on the screen, but yes, it's this symbol right here. I do remember that it means twisting. It means twisting, and I think it's meant to represent the unpredictability of life. And I have that same motif sprinkled throughout the rest of his design as well, if you look pretty closely. I will say the scar did take me a very embarrassing amount of time to draw compared to everything else. I felt like I was making really good progress with his design, and I just felt like I was slowing down a lot when it came to drawing his scar. It took me quite a while, but eventually I got it done, and I started moving on to the hair, which was pretty easy. I tried not to focus too hard on overcomplicating the hair, and I tried to keep it super simple for the most part. And honestly, rendering his arm, as I'm doing now, was probably my favorite part. It was very satisfying. Rendering muscles in general is really satisfying. It's a really satisfying process for me. And rendering the skin without like having clothes on the way or whatever. Hearing other people talk about like their lore and anything like that, it does give me a lot of inspiration, and it gives me a lot of ideas for my own character lore as well. So feel free to share any thoughts you might have about my characters and their lore. And also, if you have any similar characters with any similar lore, you can feel free to share them down in the comments as well. I'd honestly love to hear about it. Now I'm going in, finishing up the dog tags, and I'm finally adding color, which is probably one of the most satisfying parts. Overall, I love it. And here is his finished design. This is Sino. I'm so happy with his design. I love him so much. I'm super happy to see him in his redesigned form. I love all the colors. I feel like they suit him super well. I think the color distribution is also really nice as well. Sometimes I feel like I might be using too much dark colors, and conversely, sometimes I feel like I'm using too many light colors. But I think I got the balance just right for his design. And yeah, overall, I really like it. I'm super happy with it. And that wraps up everything. So you guys let me know which one was your favorite, which one you liked the most, which character you liked the most, and also feel free to share any lore ideas. And let me know which one you like the most down in the comments again. And again, a quick reminder, I am on Artfight. Here's my tag for Artfight as well if you want to go give me a follow. And I'll link some of my other socials as well if you want to go give me a follow there. On Instagram and TikTok, I am most active, and I do post my art here first before I make my YouTube videos. And yeah. And I will also be posting separate speed paints on my YouTube channel as well. If you want to watch the speed paints without any commentary And yeah, so that wraps up the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the designs, and I hope you enjoyed sticking along, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.